That's a pretty wild Teddy Roosevelt impression you got going on there. Just speak softly, carry a big stick, that kind of thing.
Oh, well, I got the big stick. To speak softly? I'm not having it. Oh! The Irish challe. What is it? All right, guys, Irish stick fighting, shillelaghs. What are we talking about? The Irish stick fighting comes from ancient sources. They would use sticks and spears and swords and all kinds of different weapons of war. The shillelagh, or Irish stick as it was known, was usually a blackthorn wood. So it was a stick with knobs, and where the thorns were, they were shaved off and created a knobby stick. Today, people practice shillelagh or Irish stick fighting using knobbed canes. So something like this. This one is a custom make, hickory with some red wood on the inside here. And any technique that you would use for, say, challe sticks or sword play or whatnot can be trained with a knobbed stick. And then there's even martial arts that are specifically designed for cane fighting. So if you look at like Edwardian, Victorian era martial arts, there's techniques that are designed for la cane, which is walking sticks method. We're going to look at a couple of the techniques, and then we're going to discuss, is this useful for today's practice, for today's martial artists? I think you all probably know what my thinking on this is, but let's take a look at some of the actual techniques. Okay, so we actually play with sticks a lot around here. I recently did a seminar for my students on cane fighting. The single stick practice and whatnot was one of my absolute favorite events when I was competing in HIIT tournaments. And I absolutely love the idea of walking stick as a form of self-defense, hiking stick, short poles, any of these types of things, because they're so readily available, easy to access, and if you and if you train it, you can find a weapon, basically anything that you can hold, you know how to now manipulate and use as you would a stick. So some really common practice with a shillelagh or Irish stick specifically, the knob is the important part here, is that it gives you a difference in weight on one side or the other. So if we're practicing, Mike has a typical like walking stick, different techniques for the hook and all kinds of different stuff, different methodology for training with that. But if you have something specific like this, the advantages are pretty obvious. If I go to strike at Mike, he now has to really struggle to stop this knob coming in because it's so thick, it's so heavy that you're going to blow through most people's guards. So it's forcing him to do more of a two-handed block, so he has to block like so. If he does two-handed blocks, it makes it easier to do other techniques around it. Also, you can use this as he's coming up. I can change the angle and really open up his guard, so I'm going to slow this one down. Oh, shorten the stroke too so that they can see better. We're here, we strike in, he goes to block this. If I turn this knob over, just a simple flick of the wrist, rolling, changing that angle, blows through most people's guards, which is actually really cool. And then the other neat side of this is I can swing with this end, he parries it, and I immediately have a faster, easier whippy end that you can do follow-up strikes with. So you can throw 1, 2, really easily because the weight of this thing makes this end go so much faster. So the knob aspect of this stick is actually really cool. Makes the techniques really interesting. Powerful end, fast whippy end, and if you practice with it, it actually reminds me a lot of the shell and staff, which we recently did a video on, because you are spending a lot of time changing which end you're hitting with. You can two-hand this, you can strike it with all kinds of different ways. Now, do I think training with something like this, training in the Irish stick or shillelagh, is useful for martial artists today? I think training in any stick art are just actually really useful for martial arts today. The difficulty is finding knobbed sticks specifically for training. Again, this one was one that was made, which is got a really well-made structure to it and can stand up to a lot of impact and whatnot. They do make trainers out there specifically for it, but they are a lot harder to find. You'll more likely find something like this, just a normal walking stick, which also works well. If you find a book or a manual on Irish stick fighting, any stick will do, which is the nice thing, because by training in it, that translates anything out there. Any stick, anything that's a long pole or whatever, you know how to use it, utilize it as a weapon if you'd ever needed to, which is really cool. Also, if you hike or are walking around with any sort of stick whatsoever, knowing how to utilize it as a tool or self-defense device can be really useful. My wife and I were hiking in the woods one time, and I had a walking stick, and a snake came up and started doing the snaky thing, and it was really nice knowing that you had a stick to, all right, go away now, steak. So yeah, is the Irish walking stick a useful tool to play with? Yes, of course it is, and it's really cool. It's so much fun to play around with. Thanks for watching, guys. If you got any questions or want us to touch on any specific thing in martial arts, you know what to do. Leave a comment below.